But since there's just the four of us or the five of us, I'll get more right to the point and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's probably better for you. I used to actually be a company spokesman when I lived in New York 20 years ago. And I've gotten a little green as far as speaking in public since then. But it was definitely an exciting time. I was on the radio, I was on TV, I gave talks, but that's all history now. Basically, what my history is I've, so you know, I've had 3 contract cleaning companies in Northern California, and then I had another one for a short period in Atlanta, Georgia. So my history's been in the cleaning industry. I'm now a writer for the cleaning industry, and except for a couple of clients, most of my clients, I do communication and PR work for them. They're all manufacturers in the cleaning industry. They make vacuum cleaners and floor machines and things like that. All right, with that out of the way, what we're going to be talking a lot about today are pathogens, okay? Um, pathogens are germs, viruses, bacteria, mold, mildew. The way we're going to use that term today is anything that if we ingest, if it gets on our hands, we touch our nose, our eyes, our mouth, or food we're about to consume, can make us sick. That's what a pathogen is. And I wasn't going to discuss, I kind of removed it, but I should mention that this is why hand washing is so important when it comes to COVID, because we know the pathogens that cause COVID get on surfaces, and we call them high touch areas, light switches, door handles, keyboards, mice, anything that's shared by many people, those are high touch areas. And when they get on our fingers and we touch our face, food, we can get sick. And I had my own personal experience with this, not with COVID, but about 20 years ago, I started a cleaning company in Atlanta, Georgia. And I only had 2 people working with me. And right away, we got all these daycare centers, about 10 of them. And everything was going smoothly. And then all of a sudden on a Friday, I noticed I wasn't feeling well. By Friday night, I was in the hospital. By Saturday morning, they discharged me and they said, you have hepatitis A. There's nothing we can do. You're just gonna have to relax for 6 weeks, 2 months, and I'll go. But then what happened is so interesting, because Monday I called the administrator of the daycare centers and I told her which ones I was working myself. And she went, oh my God, you're the fifth person that's gotten hepatitis A in that one daycare center. And with kids, you guys have kids, I don't, they get on everything. They touch everything. They touch door handles, they touch desks, they touch everything. So when we went in there and then I started cleaning and I was touching surfaces, I didn't wash my hands, and because I didn't wash my hands, I got the disease. So this shows you how COVID is spread. It's the same thing. It's like a virus. It gets on surfaces, gets on our hands, we can consume it, we get sick. So, all right. I have my notes on another screen here, so that's why I'll look over here. We already said the COVID pathogens can get on everywhere. There's also been a lot of miscommunication about this disease. We've never had to deal with anything like this before. But in May, the CDC came out and said, this virus is spread mainly through inhalation. And like a day or 2 after that happened, there was a bit of an uproar in the cleaning industry, but public health officials, because we already know it can get on surfaces. This is all where cleaning comes in. And so like within 24 hours, they backtracked. And the CDC says it primarily is spread through inhalation, but it can get on surfaces. And when it gets on surfaces, we can come in contact with it and got sick. So it's confirmed now by the CDC, by everybody, by the cleaning ministry. It gets on surfaces. And if it gets on surfaces, the only way we can protect ourselves is hand washing and thorough and effective cleaning. Now, am I going too fast or anything, or everything okay?
No, good, great.
There's some terms we need to know about COVID and preventing the spread of COVID. When I was in the cleaning industry, my proposals always said, we're going to clean and sanitize your restrooms. So what does the word sanitize really mean? Sanitize means we're going to remove most all of the pathogens on those surfaces. We're going to bring it down to safe levels, okay? But when we disinfect, that means we're going to remove, kill, eliminate, inactivate all the pathogens on those surfaces. This is important to know because sanitizing and disinfecting are not the same thing. And then we have to look at disinfectants and break that down a little further. If you have a cleaning crew in your office or wherever, every time on every disinfectant in the United States, only the United States, it's going to have what they call kill claims. Kill claims are what pathogens this disinfectant has been designed to kill. It could be E. coli, different types of bacteria. If it doesn't list the SARS, the SARS is one, but coronavirus pathogens, it's not designed to kill that pathogen. So if you're concerned about COVID and you're buying disinfectants or your cleaning workers are doing, they have to make sure that's listed there. And here's the way to do it. The EPA has created what they call the N list. This came out about May also of last year. The N list was every disinfectant that's been tested and proven to kill the COVID virus. So at one time there's only about 35 of them, but now there's probably about, I understand, about 400 because many manufacturers make a variety of disinfectants. So you just check the N list. If it's listed there, and the manufacturers are happy to say this. They're going to say right on their product labels, we are listed on the N list by the Environment EPA. So, okay, so that explains. Another thing we have to understand, two more terms, is what does cleaning mean? When we clean a surface, we're cleaning visible soils. We're removing visible soils. And some of those soils will also be pathogens, what we can't see. But disinfecting, as I said before, is when we kill all the pathogens on those surfaces. So cleaning removes the soils, disinfecting kills any remaining pathogens. It's a two-step process. And this is something we have to remember because this is what's made for the cleaning industry, three-quarter here, made it difficult initially for us to fight this virus because cleaning is a two-step process. So if we have to clean and then we have to go back a second time and disinfect it, that's very time-consuming. And when it comes to cleaning, time is money. The more steps we have to take, the more expensive cleaning is. Mm-hmm. So just remember, cleaning and disinfecting are not the same, and it's a two-step process. Further, we try not to use the expression kill viruses anymore or kill pathogens. Instead, we try to say we eliminate them or inactivate them. And here's why. Some of the new disinfectants that have come out no longer just kill pathogens, they make it so that the pathogen can't replicate. And if it can't replicate, that's what all it does is replicate and spread disease. If it can't replicate, it's just going to die off. So what we say instead of kill, we say we eliminate them or inactivate them. So any questions so far on anything? Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Well, I was wondering, what are some of the good cleaning products that we can buy at the store that will do a good job in our homes? And for me, I'm a realtor, so when I go to show homes, I have gloves and I have hand sanitizer and we wear a mask and I try to have my clients not touch too many things. But what can we do to what kind of products can we buy in order to help keep things sanitized, disinfected?
I'm not as familiar with the home cleaning industry as I am the commercial cleaning industry. It is two different ballgames.
Sure.
However, I will say a leader when it comes to fighting COVID and disinfecting is Clorox. If they make surface cleaners now available, I would consider using a bleach-based product because bleach kills everything. So you're going to be safe there. I don't know anything, you can check Lysol. By now, if it says if it says on the label, will kill pathogens that cause coronavirus, that would be another one. You're going to have to check the label a little more carefully. Clorox products are pretty much a shoo-in, but anything else, do you spray any counters or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll spray the counters, or I'll take wipes and wipe off doorknobs and handles and things like that.
Wipes is a good thing to do. And their wipes are pretty much they're all going to be effective. They're all going to be pretty effective. So are people going to open houses and things like that?
Yeah, people are still going, but I try to make it safe. I require everybody to wear a mask, and I'll have doors open, things like that, so they don't have to touch too many things.
I'll just toss it out to you, because you might, sometimes when you go to see open house, they ask you to take your shoes off. And usually it's to protect the floors and things like that. But COVID has been found on floors. And what a lot of cleaning people do now is they bring one set of shoes to work in, and they have another pair of shoes when they leave the buildings or facilities. Because COVID does get on floors, it has been found on shoe bottoms, and that's why they're always change your shoes and also wash your hands. So you might just want to ask them, would you mind putting on those mittens or whatever those things are? You can use it as an excuse to, protect the floor, but COVID has been found on floors. So just something else you should know.
Okay.
David or Connie, anything else? Okay.
Actually, I do have one quick question. What about more like all natural essential oil type cleaning products versus the bleach or heavy chemical based ones?
I hate to say it because I had a client for 15 years that was very involved in green cleaning, but they've kind of taken a back seat right now. Green and natural products, or products that are environmentally responsible, have taken kind of a back seat because people want the real McCoy right now to kill the virus. One product you can use that could probably be is effective is hydrogen peroxide. Hospitals use hydrogen peroxide a lot because it does kill most germs, most pathogens. Okay, so off the top, that's what in the United States, there are no green disinfectants. If you go to Canada and parts of Europe, there are green disinfectants. In the US, they don't allow them. The EPA is only concerned, the EPA registers disinfectants in this country, and they're only concerned that it kills the viruses, the pathogens the manufacturer said it's going to do. And secondary, but not as important, that it doesn't kill anything else, like people. Pesticides in the US are labeled, disinfectants in the US, you possibly may not know, are labeled pesticides. Why? Because they kill things. And the EPA is really only interested that it kills the pathogens as the manufacturer says it's supposed to do. So to answer your kind of question, you could consider hydrogen peroxide. Okay? If that helps. I guess not, he left. Right. Here's a big problem in the cleaning industry about COVID. Okay, picture someone had the disease, they're not wearing a mask, and then they sneeze or they cough. Okay? Here's what's going to happen. There's even been photographs of this happening. Some of the microorganisms in the COVID pathogens are heavy. They've got moisture, they've got mucus in them, and they're going to fall right to the floor. Others are not so heavy, and they're going to drift a few feet in front of us. And that's why if someone is 5 or 6 feet in front of us and they inhale it, there's a chance that they're going to get sick. But most of the pathogens that are released when somebody coughs or sneezes are very light, and they become airborne, and they land on everything. Like in Connie, where you are, the walls, the doors, the picture frame, they can land on anything. Okay, I just got, and so this has caused a problem for cleaning because, this means cleaning workers would have to go, wipe down everything twice, clean everything, the doorknobs, the picture frames, everything, and then disinfect again. So, and another issue we have about COVID, it is deadlier than other type of viruses, flu and the cold, but even more important, it lasts a lot longer. It does live longer. But we have to take this with be careful about this. Most studies now say in the cleaning industry, it lasts a few hours to a few days, whereas the cold virus may only last a couple of hours, 24 hours. The flu virus, a few hours, a day or so on the surface. But studies are coming out now that say, well, they found that the pathogens that cause COVID last 28 days. One just came out of Australia.
Wow.
Got to be very careful with those. Yes, they're eye openers, but they're not always accurate. Here's what's happening. They have the pathogens that cause the coronavirus. They put them in a Petri dish. They're covered with saline solution. They cover the Petri dish. They turn off all the lights. Okay, that's not a real world setting. Okay, we already know viruses, the lifespan of viruses dwindles dramatically when it's exposed to light. But in a real world setting, those pathogens, they'll be on a doorknob, they'll be on a desk, on keyboards. People are touching those. People are, the air conditioning is coming on, the heat is coming on. A climate can very much affect how long viruses live on surfaces. So the truth of the matter is, we know pretty sure that it lasts a few hours to a few days, which is plenty enough time for it to be transmutable that if someone touches it, they can get sick. So we have to be on guard. So how are we fighting this in the professional cleaning industry? Two technologies that are old technologies have turned out to be godsends. The first is what we call electrostatic sprayers. Have any of you heard about electrostatic sprayers?
No.
Okay. Water break. These were actually developed in the 1930s, and they originally developed to coat like the bottoms of cars. They are sprayers. They would spray it on the bottom of cars to prevent rust. They would spray it on manufacturing equipment and other types of equipment to protect the surface. It's a coating. Well, we found we can take those same electrostatic sprayers, and now many of them are handheld, and fill it with a disinfectant, and then take that machine and just kind of spray or mist an entire area. And so it, to kill pathogens. But here's the secret to these systems. As the disinfectant is being released through the nozzle, it's given a negative electrical charge. Now, most of the things like April and you're behind you, the bookshelf and things like that, they're positively charged. So negatives and positives attract. As soon as that negatively charged mist gets on that bookshelf, it starts killing pathogens almost immediately. So that's why these are proven to be so effective. Even more, what new disinfectants have come out that they're coated themselves. They can last 60 to 90 days. That means if we were to miss that bookshelf behind you, we wouldn't have to worry about pathogens developing that could cause COVID for 60 to 90 days. We're safe. So it keeps acting. Even if you move things, even if you clean, the disinfectant is going to be there. However, most of the disinfectants now being used, that's just some, only last 1 to 3 days. So if that bookshelf, like if you have a family and your family's touching it quite a bit, it would have to be misted every couple of days. But if it's a surface area that's not used that often, we don't have to mist them every day. We just have to focus on the high touch areas. But anyway, these electrostatic sprayers have really been a godsend. As far as using them, there's some safety issues. If you're a gym person, they're used a lot in gyms. If you're a gym person had been here, there is some safety issues. They're very safe machines, but it's recommended that the user wear a mask, goggles in case any of the disinfectant goes back into their eyes, and gloves. Everyone in cleaning now wears gloves. So, but other than that, they're very safe. And people, if your gym person was here, people can be using the gym. I've seen it in my own gym. People can be using the gym while they're using this. It's not going to hurt them. It's perfectly safe. Okay, this is not so with the second technology that's become also a heaven sent. This is ultraviolet light or UV lights. And you may have seen these because they even have some for home use, but they just look, they're usually standing on a stand. It just looks like 2 or 4 fluorescent lights that are very bright. And what UV lights, they were first started using them in the early 1900s in hospitals, because we've shown that in hospitals, it can kill pathogens. Okay, so what are UV lights? This I have to read. Ultraviolet light is electromagnetic radiation, which includes radio waves, light waves, and X-rays. So when these things are turned on, they're actually like sending X-rays power to all these pathogens, and that's what's killing them. They do kill them. They don't even activate them or eliminate, they just kill anything on them. And that's why they're used a lot now on buses and on subway cars in New York and probably in Chicago also, because they can just put it in the car, leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. They have to be used at night, 5 to 10 minutes, and then every pathogen, all the pathogens will be killed. If you picture a bus or a subway car, there's really no surface on those cars that is not touched. You know, when somebody gets on a bus, they'll touch the railings, the seats, the windows. So these have become a real lifesavers because we know using them, you can kill all the pathogens. And how they work is usually they're on a timer. Someone will put that in the bus, it goes on and it goes on automatically, it turns off in 10 minutes. When it turns off, then that person can come in, pick it up, take it into the next bus. It goes on automatically, turns off, and some of them also have remote controls. The remote control ones are the ones that are used often in offices. So they can be driven from one area of the office to another area of the office. Unfortunately, these are not the safest machines. They're safe when used properly, but all living things have to be removed from the area, and this includes plants, animals, and of course people when it's being used, because it can prove very harmful if you're exposed to UV lights for a prolonged period of time. So everything has to be removed. But buses and subway cars are using them almost every night. In an office setting or even in a gym, they may only have to use it maybe once a week if they're really concerned about COVID, and use it in different areas of the gym. So those are the two technologies that are really coming, that are helping us. And there's some other benefits for these other than just the fact that they kill the COVID pathogens. They're also considered very green, you know, because no chemicals are used. With the sprayer, some disinfectants are used, but it's used very efficiently. We're misting a disinfectant over surfaces. So that's, we're using it much more efficiently. We're not using as much. In cleaning, whenever we can use no cleaning chemicals or fewer cleaning chemicals, we're reducing cleaning's impact on the environment, and that's the definition of green cleaning. They also promote sustainability. You know, something I read, something like 65 million tons of cleaning solutions or more are transported around the country every year. It's probably more than that. And so if these products are not using chemicals, that means there's less packaging, there's less fuel needed to transport them. Less fuel means fewer greenhouse gases. So they're promoting sustainability in their own right. They can disinfect a very large area, much larger, like in a picture of a gym. You know, there's so many areas that have to be cleaned and disinfected. Using these systems, the whole area is covered, and very quickly. We're also using UV lights. In my gym, they're using it now in the air conditioning system. As the air goes out the vents, UV lights are on, and it's killing all the pathogens that are released as the air goes out. So it's making the air healthier. So that's the gist of it. I have a few more things, but I think we'll keep it more. Electrostatic sprayers and UV lights are what the cleaning industry is now turning to. And they're being used now on airplanes. They're being used in all kinds of places to help keep us healthy. And when when I was in, I didn't mention, I also worked for ISSA, which is the largest cleaning association in the world. And that's what brought me to Chicago. And when I was, because they were based in Lincoln at that time. And in those days, they were always trying to promote it. It's an 85-year-old organization. How do we prove the value of cleaning? How do we prove? So they used terms like cleaning for health. And then they came out with a PR firm coming out with the expression, the value of clean. Cleaning reduces absenteeism. School performance improves. Less people are sick. Morale goes up. I have to say, nothing has proved the value of cleaning like COVID. If anywhere you were building owners or building managers, at one time, cleaning was viewed as a commodity. When I was in the business years ago, many companies and government agencies, they said they had to hire the low bidder. Those days are gone. Now building owners and building managers, they want to make sure that their cleaning workers, their cleaning staff know how to clean for health. So the industry's changed forever and it's for the better forever because cleaning is important. Cleaning is valuable. All right, so that's the gist of what I want to discuss. Any questions? Any thoughts?
No, cleaning is important.
All right.
My husband's an electrician and he works at a college and they're putting the UV lights on the air handlers so that, you know, they can keep the kids on campus.
You know,
I know.
go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say our fire department, they use UV lights in their ambulances in between each transfer. So what they'll come back and they have like a giant wand that's just like the highest degree possible for the UV lights. Then they go over their entire ambulances with that. It's pretty. It's kind of a neat process. Pretty cool.
I hadn't heard that before, but that's very, I can see that's a very good application for those systems.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very quick. You know, an ambulance, it would only take a few minutes. And I think they do have goggles and things like that they can wear to protect themselves. And it's not going to take a long time either. So that's a very good way to clean and disinfect ambulances. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate your talk today. It's very timely.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm glad I appreciate you calling on me. And I do hope you learned a few things and know more about the value of cleaning.
oh yeah, for sure. It gives me the heebie-jeebies to, you know, think about some of the things. Ugh. So cleaning
We're
is
going to get through this.
absolutely.
Right now, cleaning and masks and social distancing, that's what we've got. You know, the vaccine is coming soon, I pray. But cleaning is going to help quite a bit. We're going to make it through this. All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
So much. Yes.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Connie. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.